How many games will the Detroit Lions win in 2023? What's going on, Lions fans? It's time to restore the roar in 2023 and make that playoff push. The question is, will the Detroit Lions live up to the hype? Let's find out. But before I give you my record prediction for the Lions, make sure to Gronk spike the like button and let me know in the comments section below how many games you believe the Lions will win in 2023. Let's go. The Lions have a lot of hype coming into 2023, and it all begins with the kickoff game playing the Super Bowl champs, the best player in the NFL, the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, in the kingdom. You're talking about a test for the Detroit Lions? This is a test. Now, personally, I think the Lions can move the football, possess the football, and score points versus the Chiefs' defense. But I do not have the answer on whether or not the Chiefs can slow down the MVP. I think the NFL put the Lions in this spot to really raise the awareness around the Lions as a fun NFC team this year, but also to create a shootout environment for their product on that opening game. I think this is going to be a shootout. I would expect the Chiefs to win. If the Lions win this game, they might be even better than I or anyone else thinks. I think the Chiefs just show their championship pedigree and they win this game after they raise the banner. So the Chiefs knock off the Lions. They're 0-1. But in week number 2, this is a huge game. You play one of the teams that I believe are very much on your level in the NFC. Not quite regarded as NFC contenders. Not in that Eagles, Cowboys, Niners status quite yet, but in that second level. Along with the Seattle Seahawks, the Lions. The Lions are at home. The Lions have that home crowd in their home opener. It's good because you don't have to go to Seattle, so that's big time. This is also a game that could be a shootout. Seahawks have a really good receiving core. Seahawks have a really good offense in general. Geno Smith, Jared Goff should be a bit of a back and forth here. I'm going to lean towards the Lions. They are the home team. I think both teams are very even. Defenses are on the rise. Don't quite know how good either unit's going to be for either team. I think the Lions have improved their secondary enough to pull this one out, so I'm going to take Detroit. Week 3, you play the Atlanta Falcons. This is not going to be an easy game, but this is the easiest matchup in the first 3 weeks. It's also at home. As long as you can improve your run defense, you should be able to win this game. That's why I say, hey, look out for Atlanta, man. They're going to be able to run the football on everybody. So the Lions are going to have to make the most of every possession, but I think they win. So they start 2-1. Then they travel to Green Bay on a Thursday night. This is a huge game for the Packers. It's Jordan Love's probable first game in primetime. It's a revenge spot for the Packers after losing both games to the Lions last year and losing and getting knocked out in the final week of the year at Lambeau. So I'm going to go with the Packers for that reason. It's a huge revenge spot for the Packers. And I think they show up big time with big motivation. So I'm going to take the Packers. Then week 5, you play the Carolina Panthers, which is also a nice test in this NFC. Many people believe the Panthers could win the NFC South, and I'm kind of undecided whether or not they will, but it's possible. Bryce Young, maybe he struggles early in the year, but maybe he's already just getting it and really good. That's also possible. Carolina has a talented defense, but I'm not quite sure they have the offensive skill position players to take advantage of the Lions defense, so I'm going to take the Lions in this one. Then in week number 6, you play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that the Lions have a good enough offensive line to offset Todd Bowles' ability to blitz and pressure Jared Goff, which could be trouble. And then also, I think the Lions, they like to run the ball. Bucs have been good against the run for years under Todd Bowles. He always has good run defenses. But I question the Bucs' ability to move the football. I think this is one of the games early this year that the Lions defense can really show up and win. So I'm going to take the Lions. Week 7, you play in Baltimore versus the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens. Tough place to play, really legit team, great defense, really awesome quarterback with better improved skill positions. The Ravens will be a double-digit win team. There's no shame in losing this game. Week 8, you play the Raiders. This will be a really fun game. Monday Night Football, kind of a random matchup versus the Raiders, but I do believe it's going to be back and forth, another shootout type of game. I think the Raiders have an awesome offense. You got to deal with Devontae Adams. You got to deal with their tight end group. You got to deal with the leading rusher in football, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers, Josh McDaniels play calling. Can you block Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, Chandler Jones? Good pass rush there. But again, you're at home in a spotlight game, Monday Night Football. Your fans should be rowdy. It's a kind of a toss-up. I think the Lions have more talent defensively, so I'm going to take them here. Then they enter the bye week. They play the Chargers. This is a game that I could see going either way. I'm leaning towards the Chargers despite coming off a bye. Sometimes teams come out of the bye a little sluggish. They lose a little spark or a little physicality. That could be the case, but I just feel like Justin Herbert is going to have one of those games where he takes over and he wins this game late as the talented beast of a quarterback that he is. So I'm going to take the Chargers. Then week 11, you play the Bears at home. I think you win this game as long as you can corral Justin Fields in that running game. I think you should be able to move the football as you did last year against Chicago. You swept them last year, so I think you should be able to win the game at home. Then week 12, you play Thursday nighter. Both games versus the Packers, by the way, are Thursday night. This is Thanksgiving. I think you win on Thanksgiving against the Packers, get revenge for the early season loss. Then week 13, you play the New Orleans Saints. This is a tricky game. I could see this going either way. I think the Lions' familiarity with the Saints organization, with their coaching staff, with all of that, I think the Lions are the more talented team. I think they're the better team, and I think their familiarity comes in play, so I think they win. Then week 14, I think you could lose here. It's very possible to the Bears. Right now, you're sitting at 8-4, very pretty. I think it's possible that you split with the Bears. I'm going to think about that one for a second. But first, I'm going to say that you beat the Broncos at home. I think this one's tricky. Like, Denver's defense, they could be good, but I also see them as a little overrated entering the season. Their offense is going to be very up and down because Russell Wilson's nature is just inconsistent. Then you play the Vikings on the road. I think you lose to the Vikings on the road. I think they beat you in a shootout like 31-28, something like that. Really tough to slow them down in their dome. I just feel like last year, no matter which defense entered that building, it felt like they just turned into Swiss cheese. Week 17, you play the Cowboys in Dallas. I got the Cowboys. I think they're one of the best teams in football all around. They have very little weaknesses, and their defense, I think, might be the best in the NFL. And then week 18, I think you finish out with a win against the Vikings. So ultimately, I see you at about 11-6, 10-7. Let's say you drop this game to Chicago here. I'll have you at 10-7 for the season, which is really good. And honestly, I think that's good enough to win the NFC North this year. I think you are the favorite to win this division. And if you enter the playoffs with double-digit wins, I think you're a legit threat to win a playoff game in 2023. Let me know, Lions fans, what you guys think. If you're going to live up to the hype, if you're going to disappoint, in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.